must first recite the Quran. And when we recite the Quran, we must recite the Quran the way that Allah recites it. And that's what we're teaching today. So on the seventh day, he gives us Surah Al-Anfal, which is a short surah. But something comes after that which is very mysterious as well. That after Surah Al-Anfal comes Surah Al-Tawbah. And it does not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Why does Surah Al-Tawbah not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? Why? We have Islamic scholars sitting in this gathering today, yes. And these Islamic scholars will be teaching this subject tomorrow, inshallah. And we say this is the only possible answer. The Surah Al-Tawbah does not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Has nothing to do with knowledge of the Quran. Rather, it does not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim because it is connected with the recitation of the Quran, not the study of the Quran. And the connection is, Allah has kept out Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim at the beginning of Surah At-Tawbah. Why? Why? Because He wants us to combine Surah Al-Anfal with Surah At-Tawbah. This is your juz for the seventh day. So they have their Sabbath once a week, and we have our Sabbath once a month. If we are wrong, please correct us. If there's any other explanation why Al-Anfal is short, and At-Tawbah does not have Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, we want to hear that explanation. Tell us. This is our explanation. If we recite the Quran this way, I wrote a book entitled, here it is. We have it right there. The Quran and the Moon. Small book. No excuse. You could read the whole book in one evening. The Quran and the Moon. And in this book we have given you all the AJZA. All the AJZA. If you recite the Quran the way Allah recited it, with the correct AJZA, and you khatam the Quran, when the 29th day has come to an end, on the morning of the 29th, the best time to recite the Quran is at the time of Fajr. So you have recited your 29th juz on the morning. And on the evening of the 29th day, when the sun has set, you look for the moon. Do you know there are people who actually send emails to me and ask me, Sheikh, where do we look for the moon? Yeah. So I have to say to them, the moon is in the sky. Yes. So then they'll ask me, Sheikh, where in the sky do we look? This is where we are today. Then I have to explain to them, look where the sun is setting. Look where the sun is setting. And if after the sun has set, if you see the moon, then the month would have come to an end after 29 days. And if you do not see the moon, then the month will continue for only one more day and then end automatically. You don't have to look for the moon at the end of the 30th day. So my method is that I recite the 29 juz on the morning of the 29th. And I wait. And if the moon is seen, then I recite the 30th juz. And if the moon is not seen, then I have the 30th juz left for the next morning. I don't want to continue because I want to give a question and answer session. But I can continue to tell you what is the 8th juz, and the 9th, and the 10th, and the 11th, and so on. And show you how at every stage Allah has divided the Quran in such a way, listen carefully, that we will be reciting the Quran in synchrony with the moon. I don't know what's the Bahasa word for synchrony. In synchrony with the moon. Tildari. In synchrony with the moon. So now then, when you're reciting the Quran in synchrony with the moon, eventually your heart will beat in harmony with the moon. Today the only people whose hearts are beating in harmony with the moon is Kampung. Only Kampung. Once you live in the city, you finish. You finish. But people who live in Kampung, they look at the sky and they live with the sky. So now then, let me ask you this question. You had enough time to think. The question is, why has Allah put long surahs at the beginning and short ones at the end? Who would like to answer me? Not Dr. Hikmatullah. Yes, anybody? We have Philistine here. Yes?
Because in beginning of the month, so we have to be strong in the first day, because the moon on the first day we have long surah, so we have to recite long surah because Allah wants us to be strong in the first of day. So at the end of the month, the surah become lesser and lesser, so it become much more relaxed to recite the Quran. And then to beginning with the new second month, so we have to be strong again.
Correct answer. When the moon is young, Allah wants us to be strong. The beginning of the month is the time to be strong. So He gives us long surahs. It taxes us. And the longest one of all is number 1. If you're not accustomed to reciting the Quran every day, and you have to recite the whole of Surah Al-Baqarah, it might take the whole day. The whole day. When you are accustomed to reciting the Quran every day, then if you're reciting at a comfortable speed, Surah Al-Baqarah could take a whole hour or more. I don't like to recite the Quran at 95 miles an hour. So when you are at the beginning of the month and the moon is young, Allah wants you to be young and strong. So He gives you the long surahs. And when the moon is old, and the color changes, it is bright yellow now. And you are tired, and the month is coming to an end. He gives you short, so make it easy for you. This is how Allah has divided the recitation of the Quran to be in synchrony with the moon. So now then, to conclude, He wants us to recite the Quran in such a way that we will live with the moon. Let me repeat that. He wants us to recite the Quran in such a way that we would live with the moon. Guess how many people live with the moon today? Ask them, which month is it? And everybody will say, June. June. But what is June and what is July? What is August? Allah never gave us the solar year to be used for the measurement of time and for counting the years. He gave us the lunar month. لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ. He gave us day and night, and He gave us the moon for us to be able to count the years and to compute time. لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ وَالْحِسَابِ. So what did Dajjal do? And everybody is following Dajjal today, and nobody is following Allah. Nobody. MashaAllah. What Dajjal did was he took a solar year and manufactured, that's the correct word, he manufactured 12 months in a solar year. But a solar year is not meant to be divided into 12. No. So when he divided the solar year into 12, because it's from modern Western civilization that did it, he now gave some months 31 days. Because it has to be synchronized with Easter and Corpus Christi and this and that and the other. And he gave some months 28 days. But you have to have a PhD in foolishness to accept that a believer can accept that a month could possibly have 31 days. Because on Judgment Day, Allah will ask you, from where did you get this nonsense? That a month can have 31 days? No. A month with Allah is either 30 days or sometimes 29 days. So he manufactured in a clumsy way these 12 secular, godless months, January, February, March, etc., with some of them having 31 days and some having 28 days. And to the extent that we live with that system of time, we are departing from the system of time ordained by Allah. And that is the first step on the road to follow Dajjal. I want to end now. I've given you enough to think about. And I hope and I pray, as a result of this lecture, that you'll read this book, the Quran and the Moon. It's outside. If you don't get a copy outside, then you follow me wherever I'm lecturing. You'll get more. I think we only bought about 5 copies. Or you can send me an email, and we can get the book to you, the Quran and the Moon. And then you will recite the Quran now every day, every day. Make sure your children do it. I went to Morocco. First time I went to Morocco, to the city of Fez. And when I went there, I found a child, a boy who was 8 years of age. And this boy recited the Quran so beautifully, so fluently. He had memorized so much of the Quran at the age of 8. I said to myself, mashallah, look at what this father has done for his son. So if you are parents and you have children, make sure that your children recite the Quran every morning before they go to school. Your grandfather and your grandmother used to do that in Kampung. But now today, in this age of progress, we have forgotten it. And if your child is reciting the Quran with the correct AJZA and they khatam the Quran every month, this child will be protected by the Quran. Let me end